want it as quiet as possible in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
We need to get that soundproofing over here.
Oh, we need at least something.
Well, you can hear the echo.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can go ahead and get this thing started if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
We don't really have to look at ourselves. So. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast with More with Stumpo with me, the host, Matt Stumpo. So today I've got a very special guest. He is special. My only brother, Nick Stumpo.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the first podcast of my series of podcasts that I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, I have a lot more and some more interesting people.
I think I'm pretty interesting.
Hopefully, some more interesting people. But today's topic is going to be on twins. So, Nick and I are identical twins, if you cannot tell. My opinion, if you're a fraternal twin, I don't count you as a twin. Doctors say otherwise, but what do they know?
I kind of go with the doctor's advice that you're twins.
If you're twins, you're twins. Whether you're fraternal or identical, Nick and I are identical. We got
It's still
tested when we
something
were born.
special that you are included with somebody else. For
Exactly.
the rest of your life.
Exactly. Nick and I share almost the same DNA, just about the exact same.
Yeah.
Which, what was that? I was reading a police in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I believe it was. You guys can fact check me on it. There was one of the twins that committed a crime,
Yeah.
and the police used the DNA to prove which one it was. So they were able to dictate which person it was. So they are going to be able to catch who it was if he or I committed a crime. So I pulled up a couple facts about twins. Also, Nick, you've got up some of the questions that people have asked us on
Yeah, I have a
Facebook. We
couple
did a
of
polling.
questions up here.
Do you want a smoothie?
You're recording.
I'll take a smoothie. And
I'm not taking this out either. This is gonna stay in it. So
No, you didn't say
no, I'm good with
Perks
not
of having
smoothie,
an
but we're gonna hear
at-home waiter service.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we should have done this.
You should have told me. I had done
Well, I did say we were recording. So all right. So I've got some facts about twins.
2 smoothies, please. On the road.
We're gonna hear that thing running. That's literally what it sounds like. You'll hear it. You'll hear it soon.
Texas Chainsaw Smoothie Massacre. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that one. So, we're going to be going off some stuff. I don't like reading HuffPost, but we'll be reading some Huffington Post. So, identical twins do not have identical fingerprints. So, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that I read through, which I found was really interesting, but I figured I'd give a couple little factoids in the beginning of the show, then we can just kind of talk about whatever we
Go
want.
for it.
So, I figured twins had separate DNA or separate fingerprints. And then Massachusetts has the most twin births of any state in America. So if you're thinking if it's your state, unless it's Massachusetts, you ain't it. So that's just me. So Massachusetts has the highest rate of twin births. Connecticut and New Jersey follow with 4.2 twins per every 100 births, which that's actually a lot.
That is a lot.
I'm wondering if that's like just identical or fraternal if they're counting those both. So number 3, mirror image identical twins have reverse asymmetric features.
It is a big word. You're just a firefighter. You don't know how to read.
Exactly. Asymmetric features. Yeah. About 25% of identical twins develop directly facing each other, meaning they become exact reflections of one another, according to About.com. They may be right and left-handed, have birthmarks on opposite sides of their bodies. I don't think we're asymmetrical twins. I don't think we are.
No, because I think we're both right-handed.
Yeah.
And I can throw both with, what's that called?
Throw a ball with your right hand and
With
left
both,
hand.
Both your hands.
Yeah,
Ambidextrous.
amphibious.
All my amphibious.
He's amphibious. He throws with right hand and the left hand.
No, I can throw a ball left and right-handed. I can throw it farther right-handed. I can still throw a ball left-handed.
I can throw a football
Pretty
almost
decent.
better left-handed, but right-handed I'm more accurate, but it gets a little wobbly. But left-handed, it's almost always a spiral, but it's all over the place. Like it's never that accurate.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So, here's something for you, Mom. Mothers of twins may live longer.
Oh.
Oh.
You might want to put me in that will. Mom.
Put me in now. Well, you know, I
Put
might put you in a
little
home
extra
quicker.
in the investing there, Mom. Let that grow.
Identical twins do not always have the same genetics. Well, for identical twins, and in case you guys at home don't know, they come from one fertilized egg with one placenta. Fraternal twins, 2 eggs, and they're in the womb. That's their thing. It's whatever. So
I never looked at
if you're a tall woman, here's another fact. If you're a tall woman, you have a better chance of having twins. Which Savannah's a tall woman.
How tall is she?
Like 5'8".
Savannah is Matt's wife.
Savannah's my wife. In case you guys are wondering. She's in the picture on my
How
profile,
tall is
probably.
she? You don't know.
She's 5'8".
5'8".
5'8", 5'9". 5'8", 5'9".
My girlfriend Randy's like, she's 5 foot.
Yeah, she's very small. She's
But
very
twins
petite.
run in her family. Like heavy. Yeah.
Well, if you're heavy, you ain't running.
The twins run heavy.
We're heavy. We ain't running.
I can't run.
Someone
I'm
asked me, "Are you running?" I'm like, "Who's chasing me?"
I'm 260 pounds. I think. I can't run. My knees hurt.
It hurts my knees. Yeah, I keep getting told at work I need better shoes. You
No.
need better shoes. I'm like, I just need a better body.
It needs
That's
better
what I-
knees.
It
I get
needs
shin
better
splints
knees.
when I run for like a quarter mile. I get shin splints real bad. I can't go any further.
You just gotta lose weight.
I don't want to.
But you have to.
I like
'Cause-
being this size.
Well, I like being big too, but I've lost some size in the last couple months. I'm kind of taking a break from lifting. But if you keep getting heavier and you go to do anything like extreme exercises like that, like to me, running is an extreme.
I
sport.
don't ever want to run. I only ran because we were like on our way to help another deputy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a reserve deputy with the sheriff's office. I was on my way to go help somebody, and I started running, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my knees hurt really bad." And usually, like if I go through like an employment process, I'll run for like a couple of months before I even go. So my knees are strong. But then once I do the process, I don't run because I don't ever plan on running. And so I took like I was literally 35 yards maybe just to run up to the car, and my knees were like blown out after that. But I like the power I can generate just from the strength that I have. I don't like the cardio aspect, even though I know it's really important. I do some cardio, but only within the workout with like lighter weight and higher reps, and just kind of moving around a little bit quicker. I don't like running. I used to do it when I was, 40 to 60 pounds lighter. It was okay. And once I got up to like 215, 220, it started to hurt.
Yeah, that's when it started hurting me. I mean, for me, I don't know. For me, like being like my career,
No, I'm sorry.
there's times where
When I used to weigh 169, so I'm almost 100 pounds heavier. So when I was 169 in boxing, that's whenever I would run, it felt fine. Like it never hurt. So, but now that I'm almost 260, or I'm a little over 260, it really hurts to run. But I can sit there and wrestle around or whatever it needs to be and just muscle my way through it, and I feel fine. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah, that's
I didn't mean to
good.
cut you
No,
off.
that's good. A lot of the things is like just taking care of your joints. Like I know I take like a joint supplement in the morning. So like almost every morning I'm taking a joint formula, and then I'm trying to lose some weight so that way I don't have that much pressure on my joints, especially like my back and my knees. The biggest things, I just don't want those going out first.
Well, that's what sucks. Like when everybody always talks about like getting old sucks. Like it's real now. Like
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it too.
I'm 27, and I've been told.
In case you guys are wondering how old I am, I'm 27 too. So we need what we'll need to do is we need to talk more about what people have asked us. Remember the whole 27 thing, because people have asked like, when's your birthday? Well, when's your brother's birthday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
like,
what we'll do is let me finish the rest of the factoids, and then we will
yeah, finish them
with
factoids.
factoids. Also, women who eat a lot of dairy are more prone to conceiving twins. Cool. It's possible that twins can have different dads. Weird. Don't like that one. I didn't know that one either.
I knew I looked like the mailman. Whatever, Mom.
I thought I looked like the dairy man from the other factoid, and then you looked like the milkman. Those were the same thing.
Yeah, dairy and milkman.
Twins interact with each other in the womb. I'm not surprised. Some conjoined twins can feel and taste what the other one does. I don't know if I want that one. If we were conjoined, that would be horrible.
Just kill me.
I would kill you first.
No, you just take me out back. Just blow my brains out.
Don't condone that.
I don't say like it's a good thing to ever do, never. But if I was
conjoined twin, that would suck. Now here's the thing: I would love to meet conjoined twins and just ask them like, what's it like? I'd love to talk to them.
Yeah,
but like I can't. Knowing you, I don't want to be around you all the time.
If you're a conjoined twin and you love it, that is amazing. I just know that if I was a conjoined twin,
you don't have to look at the camera. You can look at me.
I was looking at the camera.
We're
talking. I'm speaking to the people right now. You already know this. I would absolutely hate it. I could not stand to never ever have privacy. That's just me though. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 40% of twins invent their own languages.
We never could. We're not that smart.
We're not that smart. We're pretty dumb.
Seen it. I've seen it happen in videos.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And it's pretty cool. But I've never been good enough to doing that. Are you ready for the questions? Some of the questions.
Yeah, what we'll do is go over the questions. So I'll just kind of preface this with, I made a post on Facebook asking people that our friends on Facebook, like questions about, hey, what's something that you've ever thought about asking a set of twins, or something you've always wondered? So you need to lean in more this way.
Oh, do I? Well, can you pull it out real quick? I think it's actually.
All right, no, we're good.
So that's good.
We're good. So I just don't want to keep looking at it the whole time, but we can.
Yeah, go ahead, pull it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Level it out. That looks fine. Looks perfect.
In case you guys are wondering, I'm just pulling up stuff on the computer. So I need to go to my profile real quick, because then I'll just pull that up. And I'll just read directly from where. And I don't want to be naming people on here because I'm still learning all the rules that like I have to abide by. There's a lot of things I can and can't do in post, which I just learned a couple days ago. So I might say your first name, I might not, but you'll know.
Might make up your name.
I might make your name up, but you'll know who you are. So my post basically contained of just asking people those questions and saying, hey, just post them in the comments. We'll react to them in the video, and we'll just talk about our own experiences. Because, I mean, to be honest, man, like, I've had some crazy experiences being a twin just because of other people not knowing we were twins.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for the longest time, I never told people.
I don't ever bring it up until I think that it's a necessary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just moved into a new house and I'm meeting some of the neighbors. And as they're like, yeah, we kind of keep an eye out and everything. There's a person home at every house at all time. And I was like, well, okay, well, I have a twin brother. He probably will show up here and look exactly like me. Just know that when you're saying something to him and he doesn't respond, that it's not because I don't like you. It's because you're talking to a stranger. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh my gosh. Minds are blown every single time. And they're like, I can't believe you're really a twin? That's awesome. Whoa. But it's like, yeah, okay. But, I mean, all my neighbors are really awesome.
They're great neighbors.
No, seriously. I love them. No, they, all my neighbors in this court I live in, I just moved into it. They all wrote and signed this card saying, welcome to our court. We appreciate you guys moving into the best court you'll ever live in ever. And then they gave us a gift. It's like a little, like a wooden plaque that says like home sweet home.
That's really cool. That
It's
your
awesome.
neighbors are like that.
And then we had another neighbor who didn't sign it, so then they wrote their own card and sent it to us. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't get anything from any of my neighbors.
See, that's what happens when you move into this area.
Yeah, nothing. I think I can say people's names because it's a public comment and it's a public forum. It was a
Dude,
public.
there you are.
I'll just say their first names.
Say the first name.
So, all right. So the first two comments on it were, this should be interesting or this could be scary, which is true. So, first question from Jonathan, an old coworker of mine. Does it hurt that your brother is the better one and you were second best? Is there any truth that your parents only kept you in case your brother needed any parts in the future? Asking for a friend.
Now I'll tell you that I think that whenever you know that you've met somebody that's a twin, that you will like instantly turn the person down that you're talking to that you know and say that their twin is way better.
Yeah.
Because at my line of work, everyone always talks about like, there's the good Stumpo. There's the better one, the smarter one. There's the one who's more successful.
If they truly know, I'm literally the dumber one.
No, it's hilarious because it's like, if they ever want to try to put me down or just talk crap, they're like, well, if anything, Nick, you know that you're the least successful and the least favored of the family, and you're only here because you were in an accident. They always have some terrible stuff to say. And they're like, once they see you, they're like, hey, the successful twin.
Look at him, he's here.
He's a firefighter.
Yeah.
He's bigger and stronger and faster. And yeah, like, you have less hair than me, though.
A lot less hair.
Way
I meant to
less.
shave my head today, but I totally didn't.
I still have that. I can't pull it because it's all folded back because of this hat. Harley Davidson's. But yeah, that is a thing. Where if you know a twin, you're always putting
Yeah.
the one you know better down to bring up the one that you don't know.
Which I'm cool with. It don't bother me.
I don't care.
So the next question came from Amanda. Is who is older? I'm the older one. By 14 minutes.
Yeah, and he reminds me of it all the time.
All the time. What I have done before is what are you doing?
Are you ready for your smoothie?
Sure.
I'm ready.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I have to make it.
Oh, well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the macaroni's almost done too.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're not going to eat that one.
I can't eat the
It's macaroni in a pot.
This ain't ASMR, which, in case you guys are wondering, it's that whole sound thing where you just make noises really close to the microphone.
Because
And
it soothes.
it's soothing for people.
Soothes?
Savannah's wanted to do that. Since we got these mics now, she's wanted to do.
An ASMR.
Mhm.
So it'd be like, wow.
Yeah. So I'm older by 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So what I've done before, and that's the smoothie. There it goes.
That's my wonderful vitamins smoothie with proteins.
So what I've done before is I've called Nick and said, hey, when I was your age, and then I would just tell him what I was doing 14 minutes ago. That's just something that I did. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it. I also remember a lot of stuff that, I kind of moved out of my mom and dad's house late because I was in school. I paid for my own college, and I was doing extra school, and also bought myself a car and paid it off. And just
Say
kind of
bragging hour. Yeah.
Well,
We're not all bragging
hang
here.
on. So, in case anyone who listens and thinks like, man, I'm 24, I'm 22, or I'm 31, and I'm still at home, you just have to look at your situation and what you're in. Are you in school? Are you paying for it yourself? Are you working on your payments on it? Or are you paying for a trade school? Or some sort of an education that'll help better yourself for your future? Or are you saving up your money for your down payment of your house so you don't have to pay PMI insurance? Then that's great. Don't worry about it. People are going to be talking crap all the time about anything you do, because when somebody's upset with themselves, they take it out on everyone around them, so they all feel the same as them. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to agree.
No, I feel like that
dealt
too,
with.
but I mean,
But
I'm older.
I've waited this long.
I'm older.
You're older. Yeah,
You still don't win this
long before you
conversation.
did, Nick.
Well, let's. Don't you think so? Well, I'm older.
Had those thoughts first.
This will be the worst video ever.
I like it. This is fun.
No, it's fun. Everyone else will just be like, "Geez, this is embarrassing." For
Well, you
these
get to
guys."
know us, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's true. If you guys know us, you know this is a train wreck from the start. So, another question from Amanda. 2 questions. What things are the same, and what are things that are totally different about you? Well, first of all, the same thing is we have the same mother and father and the same last name.
That's
And we're both built pretty big. Like, we're both pretty...
we're husky.
Husky.
Wide,
We're a little husky.
wide load.
Both have houses. Now, things that are same about this. We both ride motorcycles, dirt bikes, shoot guns.
Hey, I literally have that written down on mine. We didn't talk before this.
No, we
he
didn't.
said, "Hey, just look up those Facebook posts and just kind of write down a couple things." I literally says motorcycles and guns. on
Well,
there.
yeah, it's because we're twins. You know.
we're both Christians.
We're both Christians. We're both extremely nice to people.
I just said we help people.
We help people. I don't know. I feel like we're both pretty caring and helpful. I'm not huge on like spending money on somebody, but what I'll do is I will give my time to them.
I think time's more valuable.
I think time's more valuable than
because
money.
you set time apart from making money. So if somebody's like, "Well, what'd you get the family for Christmas?" I'm like, dude, what I'm getting the family for Christmas is anytime you guys need me, I'll be there.
No, that's different. Don't get me started on Christmas right now. Don't get me started on gifts. But we're not going to talk about that. Allison and Chris will be watching like, oh my God.
They never get us.
They definitely don't. We're not good at that. We need to get better at getting gifts. But what I'm talking about is like, just for like random gift giving, like I'm not great at that stuff. Like I'm better at just donating my time. And the same is with you. Like I would rather just give my time up to help somebody because it's more fun. And I get to hang out with somebody and talk to them, bother them for a while.
Because you're so lonely.
Because I'm so lonely. I'm married.
When you
I'm
have
lonely.
0 friends, you love to help people because that's how you make friends.
Sometimes. Sometimes they don't want you to be your friend. Some of the things, I mean, we enjoy probably some of the same music.
Yeah.
I think we do. You
I
enjoy
think
a little bit of more like that weird hip hop kind of stuff.
Post Malone.
Oh, I do like Post Malone.
I love Post Malone. He reminds me of a friend of mine. He acts exactly like a friend of mine
Does he
who
have
I don't
tattoos
ever
on
get
his
to see
face?
anymore. Huh?
Oh, well, it's probably because he's in jail because he's got tattoos on his face, probably.
No, it's no, it's my old boxing.
Oh
instructor.
yeah, I know him.
He acts
Yeah,
the
he's a good
exact
guy.
same.
Yeah, he's.
But
a
I
really
don't.
good
I
guy.
don't see him. I don't talk to him anymore.
Well, that sucks.
I think he's in real estate now.
Oh, that's really cool. Actually, it's a good business. To
Well,
get
he
into.
actually owned a couple of businesses.
Did he
was
really?
doing really well for himself.
That's awesome.
But yeah, kind of
Entrepreneurship's the way to go.
He owned.
It's super cool.
He owned the Blind Pig.
No,
Yeah.
that's shut down now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it shut down because he owned it. It's shut down. It's now that indie axe throwing place or the Greenwood axe throwing place.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. That's why I should have known that the Blind Pig. Well, that sucks that it shut down. Maybe it was just because of business, COVID on it. No,
No, it was
before
definitely
COVID.
not
Pre-
COVID.
It was
way
pre-COVID.
before that. It was because of how it was raining.
By the way, we can't really say anything about COVID. We get fact checked. I read about that. Too.
COVID sucks.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
that's a fact.
It's getting into
Fact check that.
It's getting to everybody's time, and it's screwing up with a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
It
we can
sucks.
get to COVID later, but we got to get these questions.
Oh,
first.
let's do the questions.
Yeah. So then the things that are totally different about us. You got facial hair. I don't. I can't. If I could, I would. But
Well, so when I work at one of my jobs at the sheriff's office, I can't have facial hair. But during November and sometimes December, we're allowed to grow facial hair. You just have to donate money. So I grow out my beard and I just keep it trimmed during November and December. But every time I work my shifts, in between that time, I'll grow my facial hair out, and then I'll shave it when I go work. I can't stand it.
Another thing's totally different from us is tattoos.
Yeah, so
I got a half sleeve and then a full sleeve on this one.
And I just have tattoos on the inside of
inside.
my arms and on my leg. Just so I have one.
I got the one on my leg too. We got
Dude,
that
I've been
same.
looking at getting having the solar system and the atmosphere.
I've seen somebody else do that though.
Well, everybody gets a solar system. But I'm talking about having, so like starting at my
Oh,
wrist.
if you need to mute your mic, if you got a burp or something, just mute your mic.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I just did it too, and I forgot.
My plan is, so right here at my wrist, I want to start with the ground, right? So my plan is I want to have a runway at an airport right down here with like a plane taking off in kind of the sky as it comes up into here, probably from like mid forearm to elbow, maybe a little bit higher is all the sky clouds, all the different atmospheres with different types of planes in those atmospheres. And then you get up into space and probably have some like shuttles. Like, 'cause I love aviation and I love airplanes and I love space.
Nick's got his pilot's license. If he hasn't told you already, I've got my pilot's license, folks.
I shouldn't have worn my pilot shirt that says pilot's always looking down on people since
Since the Wright brothers.
1903, I think is when it was. Don't be mad at me.
All of the pilot. Anybody who's a pilot's like, I can't believe he didn't know that.
Well, everybody knows when it was. Everybody's talking about it.
There's not too much that's totally different between us. There's
No,
not
we're
too
both
much.
pretty goofy.
Yeah, we both have ADHD.
No, we don't. We don't. I don't have ADHD.
Oh, he don't have it.
I've been proven to not have it.
Sorry.
So.
When we were younger, we might have.
No, never did.
Oh, he never did have it. We both just can't focus. Just struggle. So another question from our I think it was Billy, cousin Billy. Have you ever traded places at work? If so, or the other play hooky?
So
I said if so because a text came in and it said if. Remember that?
So one time, Matt had this girlfriend, and she came over, and he answered the front door. He was wearing a white T-shirt. It was just like a, it was just a
that
regular
was my.
white
That was.
T-shirt.
I always wore black shorts with a white T-shirt.
White
That was
T-shirt.
my thing.
So he was wearing this white T-shirt. Answered the door, hugged her at the door, gave her a kiss or whatever.
Probably.
She was stopped at the front door by her mom. This was probably like 6th to 8th grade. He ran to the kitchen where I was at. We had our friend there, Marquise was there. He ran to the kitchen where I was at. We swapped shirts. So his girlfriend walked through the hallway and saw me now wearing Matt's white T-shirt and came up and started hugging me and was like kind of like trying to kiss my cheek, and I was kind of pulling away and laughing, and Matt was laughing and our friend was laughing. She's like, "What's so funny? I don't get it." Like, what's funny? And then we told her, and she's like, "Oh my God, get off me!"
I can't believe you did that. She doesn't sound like that. It's just how we imitate him.
So yeah, but
People have asked me like for at work, like at the firehouse. They've been like, "Have you ever like had your brother come in?" I'm like, "No," because people could die.
no,
Like,
yeah, I would never.
people
wanna
could totally
come in.
die.
No,
I can't go in and work for him at the sheriff's reserves
well,
because people could die.
He could do the street department, which is my
I
other job.
totally
'Cause that's
could do
so
that.
easy.
That's a super easy.
Literally easy. But I could never come into the fire department and like, "Hey guys."
Here's the
I'm
thing:
here."
it's an easy gig. Like once you know it, it's easy. It's hard to get into, but it's easy to.
I
It's easy to
know
work.
100% I can drive those fire trucks. I know
Totally.
I can do that.
That's the easiest thing. You can drive a truck and trailer. You can drive a fire truck.
Oh yeah, I already drive big.
If you can
trucks.
back a truck and trailer, even if it's an 8-foot trailer, that's the hardest to back. If you're doing like 53 footers, like, I mean, I haven't done a 53 footer, but I would assume it's not as hard as an 8-footer.
Just
8-footers are
small
the hardest
corrections.
trailers to ever back.
Just small corrections when you're backing up, because
Yeah,
when you
'cause when
when
you
you,
do-
overdo it,
Yeah.
it's not really an oversteer, because that's involved when you're like about to crash, is you oversteer, right?
Yeah,
Like when
that's when you crash. Like when when you have made the decision from going from driving, then you make your swerve, then you overcorrect and oversteer.
It's an
on it.
overcorrect. That's what I'm talking about.
Then that's when you're like, now it's crashing. I'm on my way to it. I'm on my way to crashing. So no, I haven't played hooky. I haven't traded places at work. I think we traded in high school or middle school to
Now-
take a test or something.
Well, we did trade one time, but we were in the same class already, but we just swapped seats. And the teacher kind of caught on pretty quick. Or one, I
don't
can't remember if
remember.
one of us said like, we were. So when I was pretending to be,
I'm
you,
not Nick.
I
I
answered.
didn't
to Nick.
ask you. Oh,
Yeah, but then there was a time. So in church, this is the best one. Matt was working a shift at the firehouse. Either you picked up an extra shift.
Oh yeah, no. Let me start this one off real quick.
Yeah.
So I was getting involved in the EC Life at Emmanuel Church, and I was at the firehouse, and I needed to be at the church for what was it? It was for to join in their ministries. You had to put in
ministry
a certain amount of time and be there to sign.
ministry.
Children's ministry. But I had to be there, but I couldn't because I was at work. I was doing the American thing. I was working, protecting, and serving.
Strapped up my bootstraps.
I was striking up my bootstraps. I had my boots tied. I couldn't go do it. So I called Nick. I said, "Here, take my license and go over there and just stand in for me and then sign and everything. And then that way I can get my thing so I can go serve coffee at the church." And so he went for me, and he's giving my email to them and saying, "Hey, they just sent you a confirmation thing. Send it back to me so I can write it down." And then I'd get it and then text him back real quick on what the confirmation number was, so that way he can write that down for everything. And then that's how I passed to go into the church.
And,
isn't that great?
And because he had the full sleeve and I didn't, I wore a long sleeve shirt and I wore a long sleeve jacket the entire time, so that way no one could question me.
And it was hot out too, because I remember
hot.
I was outside wearing a short
Played
sleeve.
the role, man.
Yeah.
So there was also this guy here. I can't remember that guy's name, but he kept asking me like, "How's the fire department?" I'm like, "Oh, it's really good, man. It's great." And he goes, "Yeah, what, you guys had any crazy fires?" And I was like, "Dude, all the time. Like, Greenwood never gets fires."
Barely ever do.
I don't know what goes on there. I don't pay attention. So he's asking me all these questions and he's kind of getting involved. And I was like, "Oh, I was like, man, I'm kind of thirsty. I might go get myself a water."
You're dumping it on your face. You're sweating.
But
real
every
bad.
time they'd be like, "Send in your verification codes after every lesson, so we know you've done it." I'm texting him to remind him, like, "Dude, send this in your email. You have to log in." And they put timers on there. It's ridiculous. It's like, do it within 5 minutes. That's ridiculous, man. Too much for a church.
Well, I mean, the people are going to be around your
Pretty
kids.
strict.
It's strict rules for a church.
They follow
I don't
like
know
the
if
Bible.
Jesus would do this, but
No, it's like, I don't know.
I get doing a background check.
Yeah,
I get doing a
background
background
for
check,
sure,
definitely.
around kids, but like, I
Well,
don't know.
let's move on to the next question, then we'll do a free talk later. Yeah. So from Carol, what are the advantages to being a twin, and what are the disadvantages? Advantage is like the last thing we just talked about. If I can't make it to something, he can just grabs my license and goes and does it for me. And then vice versa. There's been times where I needed to drop some brush off, and I don't have a new one. I have a New Whiteland address, so I don't have Greenwood address. So I've just borrowed his license. Yeah, we're the same people. How are you gonna tell? And now we just found out that cops can,
Or you just show
find
up,
out who you are.
or you just show up to go dump all this brush,
I'm Nick.
and they think they're like, "Oh, hey, Nick,
Hey, how's it going?
hey."
That's it. It's simple as that.
No, I have a couple stories.
Oh well, let's get through these questions first, and then we'll go back on the
No,
stories.
I'm telling. This is a story about the question.
Oh, okay.
So I used to work at the mall, and this girl came up to me and like immediately was cussing me out for no reason at all. So I figured it was a disgruntled customer because I was guest services at the mall. I dealt with people like that a lot. So I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry you've had a bad experience. Where was this experience at? What store were you in?" Store? What are you talking? You took me on a date. And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And she goes, "Yeah, you did. You took me on a date. You never talked to me again. And I just felt like what you did was completely, like douchebag kind of move." She used different words, but I was trying to ask her, like, "How do you even know me? And what's my name?" And I had a name tag on. She's like, "Your name's Matt." Okay. And she looked at my name tag and she's like, oh my God, I thought you were somebody completely different. I was like, no, you're fine. I get that a lot, actually. She goes, what? Well, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I thought you were somebody else. And I was like, you're talking about my twin brother. She goes, what? And I was like, yeah, I have an identical twin. That you're talking about him? She goes, yeah, I am actually.
That
And
may
I
have
was-
happened.
I was like, yeah. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry if he did something wrong, but he's probably not into you. And, you know.
Definitely wasn't. Whoever it was, I'm sorry, but definitely was not into you.
And what he did was better in the long run than you
True.
sticking around and not enjoying each other.
Yeah, totally.
But it's funny.
I've got a couple things like that too.
I've had somebody come up to me like almost in tears. Thank you so much. You saved my father's life. And
You're right.
I'm like, ma'am, I work in a mall.
I'm guest services at the mall. Did he need to go to the restroom or something?
was he looking for Macy's? I can direct him to the right area. But I've had people confuse me for him because he shows up on calls and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you did CPR or whatever."
Yeah, whatever. I was probably just there.
Or you were just around,
Yeah.
And people were like, "Thank you so much." And you really helped us out and you put us on the right track for that. I'm like, because it's kind of like they're putting out a heartfelt message now, and you kind of feel obligated to be like, hey, like keep your head up, But I have to tell them like you're completely wrong. Like I am not the person you think I am. I have no clue what the trauma you went through. It's awkward.
It's always awkward. So I would say the advantage is I'm able to kind of pull some stuff off
Pull some strings,
and can kind of get away with a little bit of things. Disadvantages is I don't know about you, but sometimes it gets annoying when you have somebody every single day like, oh, you're a twin, man. Like you're a twin. Like, yeah, I've known I'm a twin forever, and you're telling me the same thing that I've heard. But I've learned to get used to it. So like when someone says like, well, what about your twin? Like, what's he do? Like, it's just, yeah, I'm a twin. It's whatever. So that a disadvantage is just constantly getting asked about it, or people coming up to you that you don't know at all. I don't think we are not celebrities at all, but on a super small scale, like that's kind of how it's kind of like acts like, because I'll go anywhere, and usually one person there probably knows you or me, and they're probably just talking to each one of us thinking we're the other.
Yeah, so like,
because that just happened.
if you just imagine yourself, if you don't have a twin, multiply by 2, and that's how many people you know in an area.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially if you work in the city,
yeah,
and you grew up in that city, like in Greenwood, and we both work for it, so
Yeah.
everyone sees us all the time.
yeah, because I've had people come up to me and be like, yeah, like some of the officers here in Greenwood, they're like, hey, I thought you were a firefighter. I'm seeing you drive a city truck. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my twin brother. And they're like, I had no clue that you were a twin, and I always thought that you were a cop. Or I'm sorry, I always thought that you were a firefighter and worked for the street department.
Man, you're busy.
Yeah, I've had people think that I do all.
You work
3
2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, I've had people think that I work the street department.
I've
and
had a couple
cop
guys from
and
the fire department come up and say that, like, dude, I didn't know you. Like, you're so busy. Like, you do so much work. You work full time at the fire department, and you get right off, and you go right to the street department. I'm like, yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, don't talk to me anymore.
You just let me
Leave me alone.
relax over in the side. And they're like, yeah, man, you totally deserve it. Thank you. I just kind of walk away from it. And then like couple weeks later, they find out I'm a twin. I'm like, you didn't ask if I was a twin, so I wasn't going to tell you. That's just how I handle it most of the time. So, from a question from Megan, I know some twins have the ability to feel what is going on with the other. Do you guys have that ability or anything like that?
So there's times where I feel like I kind of know what's going on with you, but it might just be that I just know you so well. Because I literally grew up with you, so it's like knowing. It's basically like knowing yourself without hearing your deep thoughts inside your own head.
The advantage to being a twin is you always have a best friend to hang out with. Growing up, my parents probably never had to really, our parents really had to never worry about, like, well, they're gonna be lonely. We were lonely, but we were lonely together. Like, we ain't got no friends. Like mom and dad are like, are you kidding me? Like, look at each other. He's not my friend. He's my brother. That doesn't count. Like, you always, an advantage is you always have a best friend, no matter what. Like, he's my brother. He's my best friend, no matter what. There's nothing that'll change it. Like, no matter what. So that's a huge advantage. I've always got someone back to lean for, or on. But that's a huge advantage. Growing up, just having somebody always to be there, to hang out with, to do. You want to go ride bikes and jump them into the creek? Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. Hey man, you want to play BB gun war? Like, yeah man, go ahead. Like, just whatever. Hey, you want to tie towels together and just climb out the second story of the house? Yeah man, let's go ahead.
Oh my gosh, we were hellions.
Or do you want to? Hey, I'll break the glass with a screwdriver and I'll cut your finger with it to see if it hurts. You tell me if it hurts. And then I broke it, and then stuck his hand, and then he's sitting there bleeding.
We would break into our neighbors' homes
naked. We would break into our neighbors' houses, just crawl in through the doggy door, hey, and then just go walking in completely naked.
We'd like run into the street, and our neighbors would run out and pick us up, throw us back in our mom.
We would climb out of the bedroom windows,
second story,
on the second story, because we had the first story roof right there, and we would walk on there, and we would just be all the time, like 3 years old, I think. Mom was saying,
young,
and then we were just on the roof. One of the neighbors came over. Sandy, the kids are on the house again.
I blame TV, because I always see these people escaping from prison.
We were escaping from prison. We called our mother
blankets
warden.
or towels together, and then I wanted to do that because I felt like I was in prison.
Yeah, we did. We were.
But it was funny because we'd break into our neighbors' houses.
We wouldn't break into them. We would go into the doggy door or the door.
Neighbors' houses.
I don't remember that.
My mom told me that, or our mom, I guess.
Yeah, your mom?
My
mom said we didn't.
Yeah, I was told that we broke into a neighbor's house.
I don't remember that.
Well, we were little kids. I don't remember hardly anything. Apparently, we'd go out back in the backyard and pee.
I remember that.
Barn, but we'd face the wrong way.
I remember that.
Face our neighbors' houses, and then they would call me like,
yeah, because Deanne would call us.
Yeah, and she'd be, your kids outside peeing.
Your kids are outside peeing at
my house.
That was just a couple years ago.
That was last week.
Yeah, it's still a problem. Oh, God. A couple other comments. From Sherry. Sherry. I can imagine that people in our community have had entire conversations with one of you thinking it was the other. How do you respond when you realize this is happening, and go along with it?
Okay.
Or I want to hear all the stories. We're going to try to tell you as many as we can. I'll tell the one that I just had a couple weeks ago over at Dollar General. It was last week. It was a week ago. It was within a week, because it's, yeah. So I'm in Dollar General. I like shopping there because it's cheap. You can call me cheap. I am cheap sometimes. So I'm inside there, and this guy's looking at me, and I'll try to do my best to do the same impression as this guy. He's a really nice dude, and if you know him, like, he's super nice guy. He's a little different, but he's a super nice guy. So this is what his reaction was. So he had like this weird accent. He sees me, and I'm standing there, and he goes, and I'm holding some fake flowers. I'm holding some fake flowers, and I'm holding a card. So it's her birthday, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's like, you need to take her out tonight, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take her out. I'm taking her out tonight, maybe. With COVID and all, I like to stay in. I'll cook for something. And he goes, how's things been? How's the family doing? And I'm like, family's doing great, man. How's your family doing? You know me? Just got married a couple years ago. I'm like, that's awesome. Congratulations. And he's like, you know that? You know that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Then he goes, so where are you taking her? Taking her someplace nice? And I say, yeah. Maybe I might just take her back home, just to cook a meal, because that'd be more fun, or just take her out for some Mexican. And he goes, you need to take her there. And he's pointing to a restaurant, and I turn, and he goes, nicest place in town. And I look, and it's Noble Romans. He's dead serious. Nicest place. Good pizza.
Do you
good
know this
food.
guy's name?
No, I don't. You go to Dollar General in Center Grove, you probably see him.
Oh yeah.
Super nice guy. Super nice guy. But he just kept going. How's work been? How's the family been? Staying busy, looking good, healthy. I'm like, I'm feeling
He
great.
literally sounds like.
He sounds like a guy from New York.
Yeah, I used to work. So one of the guys that used to work with us is from New York.
Might
I
have
haven't
been
seen
him.
him in months.
Might have been him.
I wonder if it's him.
And then he just kept,
Is his name Mike?
It might be.
Does he look like a marionette?
Yes.
He does.
Because that's what I can imagine.
like
But
a
he's a
puppet.
super nice guy. And I'm like, this is great. Like, I'm having a great conversation
Does
with
he
him.
say like yeah?
Yeah.
Did he say that? Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Really
I'll have
good.
to find a picture.
Yeah, you'll have to get. We'll just go to Dollar General.
We can just go there.
Hey! There's that time. There has been plenty of times at the gym, guys will come up and they'll start having a conversation with me, and then I'm just sitting there, just like, yeah, man, like, hey, Nick, how's it going? I'm like, going good. It's so much easier just to go along with it, and then try to just get through the conversation before you have to explain, like I'm not Nick. Like, who are you? Like, he's a twin? Like, then explaining that, yes, we're identical twins. Oh my God. And then going through the whole conversation of, I didn't know, I'm so sorry, man. And then introducing yourself and then doing the whole thing. It's just so much easier and quicker just to just pretend like, yeah, I'm Nick. And then just, hey, how's the sheriff's department? Going great. You going through the process? Probably. Like, yeah, I think I am. And, well, how's the street department? Fantastic. I'm loving it. Like, so much easier just to go through it like that and then just finish the conversation, get through with it. I don't know how you feel about that, but that happened to me probably once a week at the gym. And then if I was out at the store, maybe every other time I was at the store, somebody would recognize me or you and then come up and say something. And then I'm just going along with it.
Yeah, I found it's a lot easier to just go with it most of the time. Sometimes if they're starting to get into like personal stuff where they're like, hey, how was that barbecue? Or
That's personal? Barbecue, I
I
keep
don't
very
know.
personal.
I don't know what happened down at this barbecue, so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm actually not who you think I am. Or if they start asking me like questions that I wouldn't really have the best answer to, I'll be like, I think you're talking about my twin brother. I have an identical twin, and I try to answer the questions that they're about to most likely ask.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you mention like, oh yeah, I'm a twin, you probably know him. Oh my God, you guys are twins. Do you feel this when I hit you? Does he feel it? Like, I try to answer.
If I punch you, does he feel it? I don't know. Punch him.
Yeah, punch him though, see if I can feel it. But I try to answer those questions way before they even ask them to try and get the run through. And it's not because I don't like hearing it. It's because I've heard it so many times. I'd rather be asked something serious rather than like be constantly being compared to. So now that leads to one of our other questions, is that a disadvantage of what I don't like is that I'm constantly being compared to
Yeah.
him. So if any of you guys can imagine, like, and maybe it does happen, like with your mom or dad, you have a brother or sister, and either your parents are comparing you, saying, "Oh, I wish you were more like your sister or your brother," or "I wish."
I wish you were more like your sister. She's so much better.
Yeah, or like maybe you have some friends or
Yeah.
close, family members who are like, yeah, like your sister's a lot nicer than you. Your brother's a lot nicer than you. I get that a lot. Like, your brother's a lot meaner than you are. Like, well, he's more like brash.
I just look meaner because it's my resting facial expression.
yeah.
it
he
just
has that
looks mean.
overarching.
I just got this
eyebrows.
big brow right here, and that sucker's just makes me look like I'm mad.
He's
I'm
got
actually
dark
most likely.
eyes.
I'm mostly.
Look at my eyes. They're white.
Look at my eyes. You know how hard it is to set up lighting in this house. Like, I had to go borrow light from my
When I
father-in-law,
look like this, I'd probably look like it.
and it looks like I got glasses on,
But you don't.
and not anymore. But it looks like I got like sunglasses.
But
Like, look at this.
being constantly compared to
Yeah.
is one of the things that I absolutely hate being a twin, because it really screwed with me. So back when
Yeah.
I was in college and you had this full-time job at the fire department and I had 3 or 4 part-time jobs, I was paying for school. Nobody saw what hard work that I thought I was doing. And I mean, looking back on it, I was busy all the time. No one saw that, like, I was out there busting my ass, and you were out there busting your ass as a full timer, but you had something cooler to show for it. And then I was working at what was I doing? I was mowing yards. I was working at the mall, and then I had another part-time job. I worked at a restaurant. I used to clean airplanes, and then I worked at a restaurant.
Then you worked at the Road Ranger.
I worked at a gas station.
Yeah.
So like I was doing all these jobs to pay for college, and everyone's like, "Are you the firefighter or the other one?" Hey, lady,
Chill.
watch your mouth. I'm the other one. Like I'm the guy who's working all these jobs and going to school because I was in the reserve school at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
So that took up at least 2 nights a week of 3 to 4 hours of class. And then sometimes it would be 3 times a week on a Saturday. And then I was in college, which took up the remainder of those nights, every single night. And then I would work all day.
Yeah, you're busy, dude.
And people were always
You've still
like,
been busy up and just till recently.
And people were like, "Are you the firefighter or the other one?" Like I'm the other one who also has multiple jobs, does lots of different things. Rather than just one stupid thing.
Well, just remember this. The government said I'm essential.
The government said I'm essential and I clean the street.
People who pack groceries up are essential. They're essential.
How is the street department essential?
Oh, we can't get too much into that. I think that'll be fact checked.
Maybe it would. They're
if
essential.
it is,
keep paying me.
If it is, I'm screwed.
No, it's essential. I think there's a lot more that is actually essential.
I don't think the government. No, I don't think we can go. I don't know how much in depth we can go into it. I don't know all the rules, but I don't think the government can say who's essential and who isn't. I don't think a lot of things
they
in
can
the
say
government are
it.
essential.
You just don't have to agree with it.
That's right. I don't agree with it at all. I don't. We'll do another show where it could be political. If you guys have any more questions, just when I post this video, put it in the comments. I'll be posting it on YouTube and on Facebook. So just put it in the comments on whatever your questions are. If you've got any ideas, what topics I can go over. If you guys want to have him back on again, you don't have to. You can just put a double picture of me and it'll be the same thing.
We could stick a mirror over here.
We could put a mirror over here right against me and I can just turn into that and turn it back in, like Steve Brule, just checking off all the cameras. If I could clip,
check it out.
If I could clip in the videos, I'd clip something like that in. I don't know how to do that yet. But yeah, if you guys got any more stuff on that, please just let me know in the comments. I'm wanting to make this thing fun and enjoyable for everybody. So another question. What is it like to be visible? So from Leah, what is it like to be as visible as y'all are in the community as twins as adults? What is different as kids? And what is or was your biggest struggle with the twin thing?
So being as visible as we are, and again,
that's a good question too.
Well,
That's a very good question, Leah. I like that one.
Now we're not like super well known, I would say.
No,
but I mean, being a twin, you kind of hear about it like, oh,
you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. So I guess so. Our second in command at the city, he thought that we are both the same person, and when he found out that we weren't, he was like flabbergasted, which I was confused by because
double timing on the Greenwood's salary.
Yeah, because I never got no second paycheck.
I didn't get a second paycheck.
I wish I could have.
That would have been nice.
Awesome. But there are like, I don't know, like there are some advantages to being super visible because when people see that you're constantly working, they think, oh yeah, you're doing a good job. But as soon as you slow down or stop, they're really judgy and they kind of pick at everything you do. But sometimes it's nice to like when I go and mow yards that people don't recognize me or see me because I have a hat on, I have my headphones in, my head's usually down, I'm cutting grass.
Yeah, and plus you working in the same city I work in, and there's working for the fire department, you get guys that are if one of the trucks are out and about, they're gonna see you and just most likely I would assume they're probably waving or you're waving back at them. Yeah. So you got those guys, then you got everyone else that is off duty that's driving around. Yeah. Or you've got just friends, guys from the gym driving around, honking at you when you're standing on one of the main roads and you're just like, you're waving people on or you're out there working. People are constantly seeing you.
And one thing that I can say that's really, really nice is that being involved in city work, like government work here in this city of Greenwood, you get to like really get that sense of community. And I know it's like a cliche that people
Well, I
talk
would
about.
say this. I would say you do a better job of creating that community because of how open you are to everybody else. Because like here's the thing, I can work in the same city. I can't say as a city or as the street department or the fire department we do really good with the community. I think we do pretty good with the community, but it also comes down to each individual person trying to reach out and doing something like there's a guy that I see that walks his dog that I've seen for the past 6 years. And if I didn't wave to him, we wouldn't have be building a relationship. But there's been a couple times where I'd be sitting out at the old station that we had. They just got tore down, and they'd walk by and I'd say hi and wave to him and kind of stop him and just talk to him. Now every time we're catching a run or something, he's always out there waving when he's walking his dog, which is like that's building a relationship.
Yeah, or you see the same EPS guy all the time.
Yeah, and you sit there and wave and you talk to him. We had the same UPS guy forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I worked with that UPS guy that he's talking about. He's a great guy. So yeah, I like it being. I mean, I really don't care. It's nice, you know. The cops recognize you, they wave to you. Johnson County guys will be nice and wave, and I love that because I love driving around and like seeing a cop and waving to them, and I want it to be normalized. So like, I love it, and the fact that they see me thinking it's you. Well, so many cops. I was at Dairy Queen and this cop came up to me and he's in uniform and he's this real tall guy. I think I called you right afterwards. And he starts talking to me about like, hey, that call about, last month, I think you did a really good job handling it. You did great. I'm like,
He never told me this because I've never been told he did a good job.
yeah, because I didn't tell him he did a good job. So he's like, you totally did a good job of handling it. And I'm thinking a call back in Green, like for the fire department. So I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Hey, do you remember which one it is? Like, we're not that busy, but I don't have a good memory with that stuff. And he's like, yeah, the guy that we arrested. I'm like, oh, it's not me, man. He's like, what? I'm a twin. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I floored the officer. Like, I feel like you should be a better detective. Like, you're a cop, man. You should be figuring this stuff out pretty quickly. So that was fun. But I like that, cops will come up and say stuff because you work for the sheriff's department, and the Greenwood guys will come up and say stuff. Just like at Subway yesterday, a guy came up. Or yes, it was yesterday. So at Subway.
It was the other day, or yesterday the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name was Scott. He came up and said something, and I was like, this is really nice. Another city worker coming up, talking to me, like treating me like a normal human, which, I mean, I think everyone should have a good relationship with everybody else in the community and stuff. So, yeah, that's...
But the guy he's talking about works with my department.
Yes.
And went up to him and was like, hey, you're the better Stumpo. That's how it started. And then it became like a nice, real friendly banter. But I've had guys come up to me like from the fire department, like load up and punch me in the middle of nowhere and like throw insults at me. And they think that it's like a big joke because they're like, oh my God, I thought you were Matt.
And I just
No, dude, I have no clue you. I've never seen you before in my life.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, him and I played these games all the time. So that part gets awkward, but you quickly, you understand it. And you realize how the situation's unfolding and where it's going. You can lead it by playing along with it or just shutting it down and being like, hey, I'm not who you think I am, so don't do anything else because I'm going to freak out.
Don't physically harm me.
Don't assault me, okay?
Hey, it's okay. Just hit back and then ask why. So why'd you hit me? So the next question is possibly one of the more important questions, I think. It was from Katie. It says, I still don't know who is who without the red and blue. Now, there's a lot involved with that one. Because when we were younger, when we were first born, after a month or two or something, Mom was telling us, one of her friends said, well, why don't you just color code them if you can't tell them apart? Because they said, what if you guys got switched? Like, what if I was the one that was born second, and I would be second best. And then he was the firstborn. So the way they kept that from, coming into fruition is one of us got dressed in red and the other got dressed in blue. So with what the color is red goes to the fire department and the color is blue go to the police department. So it was really interesting that since birth, I've been dressed in red, and since birth, he's been dressed in blue.
And blue is the color of the sky that I fly in. Dude, I love it.
I got nothing on that one. But just a couple quick things on being twins. Like, I love it personally. It is the coolest thing about me in my life. Fire department's cool. Being a twin, I'll take that any day. Being an identical twin. There's times where we look exactly alike in our life. Excuse me. And there's other times we don't look anything alike. So you guys can respond if we look alike at all in this. If I had a beard, I'd look probably more like him. If he shaved his face, he'd probably look more like me. But there's just times where we look extremely alike, and there's times we don't look anything alike.
I guess if you look at like a two-dimensional image of a double helix in your DNA, how it kind of like looks like this constantly. That's kind of how, just like this, or like a butterfly. But that's kind of how like we won't look apart, and then 2 years later we'll look the exact same, and then 6 months later we don't look together, or we don't look like we even belong together. So that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
So there's times where we look the exact same, and there's times where I can't even tell in pictures like who's who.
There have been a couple pictures. What I should have done was I need to get better at just like posting clips into this. That way, as we're talking, I can post a picture in. So if I can figure that out, I'll do it. If I can't figure it out, hey, I won't do it. And maybe some other time when I do another video, I'll put them in. But there's times where like mom would show us a picture and be like, hey, do you know who's who? And I'm like, I don't even know. But mom and dad get it wrong all the time. Growing up, they never got us right. They would just say, Matt, Nick, Matt. And that guy from the gym, that's how he talks to us. Tommy.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy. He
boy.
comes up and he doesn't know who's who. He's an older gentleman, and he's a great dude. He'll come up and be like, Matt, Nick, Matt, how you doing? How we doing? Which one are you? How was it? Everything good? Fire department cop?
And then you tell him which one you are. I knew it. And I'm like, yeah.
Like, I'm the cop guy. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm just always playing that the same because I got to do it the same every time. Great guy. I love him to death.
I love it. I love that he does that, because when someone just says Stumpo, hey, it's super simple. It's easy. It's a great last name, by the way. It's the best last name. It's totally the best last name. I wouldn't have it any other way, folks. But like, it just, when you do the whole like first name and you get it, I'm like, hey man, that's cool. Like you know who I am.
Oh, but you know what I absolutely hate? And I call people out on this when I do it. If I come up to you and you're not a twin, okay, you have nothing to say about being a twin, and I call you the wrong name and you freak out on me.
Yes.
I don't want you to shut your mouth immediately. I am called the wrong name daily. Okay, and I don't yell at everybody because I'm not that upset about life.
That is something that has annoyed me. I'll
can't
call
stand
someone
that.
the wrong name. Like
It's Megan, right? It's Negan. Shut up.
Shut up, Negan.
I am never called I've been beaten for being me, and people thought I was you. I was in it. My mom beat me when I was a kid.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he did something.
I did something. I did something that went against my mother's wishes, and then my mom just saw one of us and was like,
and beat me for it.
Hit him with a metal spoon, the big ladle, and she's whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then it is me, Kristen, and Allison are sitting at the counter watching, and we're kind of laughing because Nick's laughing kind of and screaming. And then as mom's hitting him, it starts to bend, and the ladle bent back. So then she was like, ah.
Yeah,
and then
I'm made of steel, baby.
I got buns of steel. And then she puts that up and grabs a wooden one and whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
And it snaps.
Again, and it broke.
Yeah. So you want to sit here and be like, oh, you got my name wrong. How do you not know who I am? Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, folks.
I'm sorry, I tried. Nobody else can seem to get my name right anyway, but I don't freak out on it.
Yeah, that is something like if we call you the wrong name, I mean, at least give us
Get
that.
over it.
Yeah, give us that one, because it happens to us daily, and our own parents do it. I'm pretty sure when I just went and saw Dad not even 2 hours ago, he was like, hey, How's the house? Nick just bought a house. I've lived in a house for 4 years. It's going along great.
It's going real good. Thanks. Bye.
You don't even know who your own son is. That stuff happened all the time. Teachers getting it wrong all the time. Friends have done a pretty good job with getting us like close friends.
Yeah, they have a better understanding.
Yeah,
'cause-
Drew always will know.
Yeah,
Drew knows who Drew is.
They know your Drew knows who Drew is when you say your name, Drew.
Drew's when I say Drew.
But yeah, most of the time our friends, they know our mannerisms and they can tell like the small differences.
And if you
the
shave
scars
your
on your
face,
forehead,
yeah, I
and
got
stuff.
scars on my forehead.
Um,
If you come up to us and you're wondering who is who, honestly, just look for the tattoos. Matt Tat is a good one, and then Matt Maroon and Nick Navy, and
Or
not
just
because
ask.
It just ask.
And you
That's
know,
the biggest thing. Hey, which one are you? That's not going to offend us because it's honestly would really help us.
yeah, you don't know. And you know what I don't like is when I see twin videos and they're like, I get annoyed when people don't know which one I am. Like, come on, like you're literally
Yeah.
you're almost a mirror representation of another person, and you're upset when they don't know which one's
Yeah.
which and they want to know. Like how I don't understand how you can be upset. Literally, just ask, and if somebody else gets upset over that, then they got some pretty big problems in their life. That they
I'll never get upset if someone calls me Nick. I won't ever get upset about it because it's like, hey man, like you don't know. That's all right.
yeah.
Just at least try. Attempt a name. It's 50-50 shot.
And
so
show some humility.
humility. Show some
Come on,
humility.
Shay.
Yeah,
We're
give it. It's
laughing about when you're wrong. Shay.
it's a 50% chance that you're going to get it right. So just give it a shot. And, and if anything, if you get it wrong, there's a 100% chance you get it right the second time. Hey Nick, nope.
50% of the time it works every time. I need to put some WD-40 on this chair. I've heard it squeak this whole time.
I know everyone's gonna hate it.
Put some PB Blaster on there.
PB
Some
Blasters.
WD-40s. WD-40 is way better.
Is there anything that now just between you and me, we can just have conversations about whatever we want. We answer the questions now. Something that I've always thought was interesting is I've always wanted to just always build more muscle than have you build more muscle and then just be like the muscle twins. I wanted the nickname the Twin Towers, but
It might be a little controversial.
I don't think that would be a good one at all.
Now, the Twin Towers are very strong structures. See?
And we are very strong structures.
And
We can't take that one though. But I was talking about
It's
I was talking
cool
about
if
the
it
two
was
towers
still
from
up.
Lord of the Rings. That's what I was talking about. So like that's what I just wanted us to be like, built huge.
Yeah.
But like, that's not going to happen, because he can't build muscle for nothing. And I bet I can't. I'm in my off season right now though, but I'll be building back on later on.
Yeah, I totally can. I've just been busy moving into a house and hurting my back and my tailbone.
Oh, you didn't hurt nothing. So hey, didn't you just get a COVID test?
Yeah, I passed. I'm fine. I am. I'm negative
Man.
to all that were concerned, and I didn't tell many people at all. But yeah, I tested.
Yeah, I was
I was exposed to somebody who didn't tell me that they were COVID positive. They didn't even know that they took a COVID test, and they weren't sure if they had it or not. And they didn't bring it up to me until 4 hours after our hangout sesh. And then he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I had a COVID test, and I still can't taste anything." I was like, "Oh, you kind of want to tell me that before you come over." So I went and got tested, and I'm fine.
Dude.
So I think I already had it. Everyone says it, but I think everyone who says it is probably right.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if you go out and get a test done.
I did get the
I won't.
test.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
Oh, yeah.
If they go and get a test done. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you working at the sheriff's department and you getting your pilot's license. You can go in as far into depth with flying as you want and your dreams and aspirations for that, but also talk about the sheriff's department and some of the things you really like about working for Johnson County.
Yeah.
And maybe exploring other avenues, or you don't have to talk about what any of that stuff, but I really want to dive into the pilot stuff because I'm sure a couple of the people that'll be listening are interested in that kind of stuff too. But this is really more about you.
Well,
So
so I'll start with the sheriff's office. I've been affiliated with the sheriff's office since I was been like 15 years old. So I think it's been like 12 to 13 years. I was a cadet there, and I volunteered that time, and I've been a reserve deputy since I was 21. I'm 27 now, and that's all strictly volunteer. There's no money in it, which, I'm in their process to get on full time. We'll see if it happens. Fingers crossed. But I do enjoy it. I've learned a lot, and you kind of get to see how you get to see like the dirty stuff that happens behind the curtain, because you have all these, you have all these cities that kind of pump up the nice, pretty stuff all the time when they're doing their advertisements for themselves. You don't get to see what happens in the background. And when you're in law enforcement, you get to see the dirty side of everything. And those are the people, like law enforcement, fire department, EMTs, they see, and dispatchers, they see the junk. I'm not saying that like if you call in and you need help that you're junk, but you get to see the dirty side of what's going on. It's not always clean. You don't get to see no one calls in to be like, thanks, appreciate it. I'm feeling great.
we're having a picnic, bud. Like, would you want to come stop by? Everything's going
That
great.
doesn't happen.
It's always those
it's the worst time of somebody's life
situations.
is when you're getting a phone call.
Yeah.
So
it's their absolute worst part in their life.
Yeah.
When they need your help.
And you show up for that. Yeah. So you're seeing somebody at their worst. And that's not always a great feeling, because sometimes you're dealing with a lost loved one. And that is so tough, but you can't get emotional on each call, but you also have to show the sympathy, and it's really, really hard. You leave some calls and you're almost in tears because of, you get to see what happens. I've not seen a whole lot being a reserve, but I've just heard from you, from full-time guys or fire department, EMTs, from full-time law enforcement. You see terrible, terrible things, and you have to go through that, and you have to be around it, and it's horrible. But you see people at their worst, and what always helps out, and what always makes a cop, firefighter, an EMT, or a dispatcher feel better is that a civilian or whoever was dealt with at that time shows that you made a positive impact on their life. That has always just resonated some sort of deep feeling inside that makes the person who served feel accomplished.
Makes it like worth it. Makes it worth.
Yeah. Well, they go home because most like dispatchers. So once that phone's hung up, they don't know. They don't know what happens after that. When you hang up that phone as a dispatcher, I was a part-time dispatcher for like a minute.
A literal minute. He got fired.
Once you hang up that phone, you have no clue what happens to that lady, that guy crying on the phone. You have no clue.
Now, you're not hanging up on the phone as soon as what's your address?
Please help.
Hey, they'll be there.
No, it's like once the phone call's over with or whatever.
Yeah.
So you don't know what happened. So you don't get that like satisfaction of like, are they okay? Are they not okay? And then in law enforcement, sometimes you send people off to the hospital unclear of what their circumstance is, and you never hear from it again.
Yeah.
And then fire department, same. Or you guys do
you can get follow-up reports done. To be honest, the last time I've done a report, it's been a while. I drive, but right now, but there's only been a handful of times where I've been able to see somebody after a call, either outside of the fire department or on a run again. That's been a positive thing. I would love to run into somebody who overdosed on a drug and then them not relapsing and us going on them again. That's I hate seeing that going on somebody multiple times. But when we went on, I'll share a little bit. It was on Mother's Day. It was the most pronounced. It's the one that sticks out to me the most. It was on Mother's Day. One of the guys that still works at Greenwood was actually on the call with that, and we get called to this lady's house, and it was for a cardiac arrest. So we get there, and she goes, "Hey, we were having a Mother's Day thing. My mom collapsed." Of course, she was screaming and yelling and crying. So we go in there, and her mother collapsed in front of her and had a heart attack. And the guy we started compressions and got an airway real quick, and They did amazing compressions, and she was sitting up in the ambulance talking afterwards. That was the only time I've ever really seen that happen. And they saved her life. Like when I say they, I truly mean, because they did most of the work. The two guys that were hitting that, I did a little bit. I don't want to take credit for that, but I was just a little bit involved in it. But I mean, we saved her life. And then I didn't go talk to her in the ambulance. I just walked back and, hey, we transferred everything over. We did as much as we could, She's alive. That's awesome. And then we just got back in the truck. About 2 years later, we get called back for an allergic reaction. I said, man, this house looks so familiar. We walk inside and I'm looking around, and then after the call was over, it was one of the children, we put them in the ambulance, and I come back to the mother there, and I'm like, this house looks very familiar. Have we been here before? She goes, yeah, a couple years ago, my mom on Mother's Day had a heart attack. And I said, I was one of those guys that was there. And she started crying and gave me a hug, and I was wanting to cry a little bit, because I'm like, this is how's she doing? She's great. She made a full recovery. I'm like, that's so awesome. That's the stuff I love seeing, and I love hearing that stuff. I just don't think that gets put out that much.
No.
But with our officers, I mean, I think, there's been studies done, and if I could pull up sites on that stuff, that'd be great, but I probably can't. There's been studies done where a lot of our police officers, and I would say firefighters too, have PTSD from what they're doing. And a lot of it just goes kind of just unseen and untreated, because it's a stigma of going to get help. It's a stigma. You don't want to go get help.
No,
That's what losers that's something that we need to. I personally think, I've got my different opinions on how things should be done. I think we should be talking to somebody, because you see, if an event happens to somebody, it's their worst day possible, and they're calling us or the police department
for help,
and that's our normalcy. That's we're normally seeing that kind of stuff every single day. It's definitely not war. It is definitely not war. Those guys go through a lot, but this is a different type of traumatic response that we're going on, and we're responding to it differently, mainly putting it to the side. I mean, I think something like that, to where we go to talk to somebody or try to get that out, to where we're not holding it in. But the biggest thing is I think our officers need a lot more respect. And of course everyone thinks that. But I think we need to be looking out for our own officers. We're looking out for our Johnson County guys and our Greenwood guys and Bargersville, everybody.
Yes.
And just kind of just reaching out to them. Even if we're in the public, if you see a cop, go up, shake their hand, and say thank you for your service. Because I know I've done that a couple times, kind of jokingly, hey, thank you for your service. Because I usually know the guys, but I've said it to a couple guys, hey, thanks, man. That's really cool. Hey, man.
Yeah,
because
cool.
you enjoy that.
So when there was the riots going on, the Black Lives Matter riots and the Antifa riots going on, and then cities were boarding themselves up, trying to be protected by all these crazy riots. I was at a restaurant. It was a Sunday morning, and I was eating with one of the deputies, and I don't know how many people that showed up. It was oh my gosh, 6 or 7 people came up to our table trying to pay for our bill. And then when our bill was already paid, people were they were like, we thank you so much for serving. We have your guys' back. We know what's going on in this country. We don't agree with it. Here's a gift card to come back.
That's awesome.
They were
what always makes it awkward. What makes it awkward is when people do that for the fire department.
Well, I had nothing to do with it.
I got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm not when someone says, you guys are heroes, I'm like, I'm not the.
I literally just showed up that one time that month. I'm
not the hero. And then I point to the guys that did all the stuff, those guys are heroes. I'm just a dude that does this gig.
Yeah,
I just so happen to have the same title as that guy.
That's the closest they can get. That's the closest they can get to the situation going on. And I understand. I respect it. I appreciate it a lot, and I try to spread that word.
To me, it's more of an individual thing. I don't look at it as a group saying, you guys are all heroes. I look at it as that crew, that shift, those guys are heroes.
Yeah.
Because if you just do the whole blanket statement, there's a lot of zeros.
Well, there's bad
I'm
apples
sometimes
everywhere.
that zero.
It's that stereotypical thing. There's bad apples in every profession.
Yeah, there's.
I don't go to when I go to Wendy's and I order a certain burger and they screw it up. Like,
That was the bad apple.
that's the bad apple that screwed up my
Yeah.
burger.
But when someone says thank you for your service, you guys are heroes. Like it's always, to me, I'm very different about that stuff. I get very awkward. I'm like, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, I am not the hero. Like he ain't the hero unless he does something heroic. That's just how I feel because I mean playing video games. Like you're the hero because you're doing something.
You're making a difference.
You're making a difference there.
But you make a difference.
Not really.
Yeah, you do.
I drive the truck from A to B back to A.
Yeah, well, if they didn't have you doing it, they'd just find somebody
They'd
else.
find somebody else. They'd have the next guy doing it. They'd have Brandon doing it, you know?
No. Like, you make a difference when you're on a call.
Well, the biggest thing is when someone says, I just feel like it's awkward whenever like you're the heroes. It's
well,
like,
it's unexpected. You're not really anticipating.
Well, you're
something
not doing this
saying.
gig to be a hero. You're doing this job because it's fun.
And you love it.
And it's not going
It's
to
an adrenaline kind of job. So, like
Yeah.
in firefighting and law enforcement, I mean, dispatcher, like you're just being in dispatch, like you have to multitask it's like a different term for those people.
Yeah, they
You have like a
definitely- they got
million
lot going
computer
on.
screens with 10 billion icons in front of you and like 2 different mouse pads, and then you're controlling all of that while getting phone calls and then spatching out stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
a lot of the
insane.
stuff, man, is just it's information flying in at you, and you gotta process it. I was never a dispatcher, but we talk to them quite often from the fire department. But also we've done some some little tours down there, and they've just got so much going on at once.
The setup that we have at our county is awesome.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And for me to like work on like to try to get this podcast set up was one of the it took me 2 weeks to get to this point, and it's still not even what I was supposed to be doing. Like it's supposed to be so much better than this, and it took me 2 weeks to get to this. Like this is sad. But the people down at Johnson County Dispatch, you better believe they got your back, because those guys are just all over it. They
And
got
all
it.
the codes to
Every
get all the
every
different
code.
calls. You have to type in a code just to get the call to pull up.
Are they they're the yellow line, right? Are they the yellow line? You're the yellow line.
White.
Is it white line?
I think yellow's EMTs.
No, that's blue. No, you guys are blue.
I'm
We're
blue.
red.
Red.
You know, I should
Yellow's
have.
EMTs, and I think white's dispatch.
Is it?
Pretty sure. You look it up.
Who's yellow?
EMTs.
No,
Yeah, look it up.
I don't want to.
While you're looking it up, I'll talk about flying stuff.
Oh yeah, so let's go over to the flying, because we've been going for a while now, and so you got your pilot's license recently. You paid as you went, and I went up with you one time, and I came down alive. I was
Still here.
I was like shaking, and I'm looking at my hands, and then every time I felt the bump, I'd see like the what are they called? The little handles for your gear,
The yoke.
yoke.
The yoke.
I'd see the yoke go like this, and then the plane would go whoa like that, and then I'm looking at my hands are doing this, and I'm like, I could only imagine the plane would just be doing this the whole time.
While I was watching him, his hands were shaking. My hands were shaking. I landed that plane like, oh, I can't believe how I did that. No, and to be completely frank, like I still get nervous when I go up. I have my private pilot license. I still get nervous when I go up and fly sometimes. If I have an instructor with me, like I'm pretty fine. But I recently went up to Fort Wayne, I went up to South Bend, Fort Wayne, and then Columbus. And I was a little nervous because it was like a new thing. Like I don't fly at night very often. I flew up with a friend of mine who has his license. We made that trip, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot more. We had a little in-air issue, and then we dealt with that, and I learned a lot. But yeah, I mean, like, so long story short, I went through my private pilot school, paid for it as I went. It's definitely, it's something that, it can't be taken away from you. And I mean, it can if you screw up big enough and the FAA takes it away, or the NTSB. But it's something that you do. Like, there is no half-assing. There's no cheating. It's something that you get yourself. Like, you have to learn all of the basics. You have to read your private pilot book. the entire book. You have to do all the flights. You have to put in the time and the effort, because when you go and take all the tests, it's you in that room by yourself, no phone, nothing. Like, it's just you. You're literally being watched on camera, so you can't cheat. And then when you go and take the actual, the interview, you're one-on-one, and the examiner watching you, or actually talking to you, is trying to figure out what you do not know. And if he notices that you're answering all of his questions pretty well and you seem pretty confident and you're getting them right, he'll try and trip you up and try and screw with you to get you to think that you're not doing as well. But it's something that you do yourself. Like, it's the most redeeming thing. Like, when I got my private pilot license, I didn't.
You're the one taking the plane up and bringing it back. It's you.
Yeah,
That's something to me that is an accomplishment. Like, my first time riding a motorcycle, like on the street, like, I remember it. Like, I took that bike out. There's no seatbelts. There ain't nothing protecting me from me in the pavement in another car. Like, that's me. Like, I did that. But, like, man, now it's just another thing that I do. It's super simple and it's fun. But, like, getting in a plane, taking the plane off, and keeping it in the air, and then when you're bringing it back down, doing it nice and gradual and landing it, like, that's something that you do. Like, that's pretty
I'm not
cool.
great by any means.
No. I'm not saying you're great. You're
way more better.
Yeah, there's so many more better pilots than you. But, like,
almost everybody,
just about everyone. I mean, the ones that are better are the ones that don't crash. The ones that are worse, right about where Nick's range is, and they crash. But
No.
like, that's something that's an accomplishment to do. So, like, if anyone's wanting to do something that feels fulfilling like that, where you're wanting to fulfill yourself and have self-confidence, I would say, if you got the money, go to be a pilot.
Not even that. Like, it's super expensive. We're talking just for your private pilot license, it's probably like 10 to 15,000 maybe. Or it's anywhere from, like, it ranges from 8,000 to 15,000 just for your private pilot license. But you can get scholarships, you can get grants, you can get loans for it. You can make it worth it. Like, you can make it to where you can afford it. And I highly recommend, if you have any interest at all in flight or aviation, just go do a discovery flight. Go to your local fixed base operation, AirFBO, which is like Greenwood Airport, or you go to Indy Executive or something, Columbus Airport. You just go to one of those. Just be like, hey, like, I want to go up in the plane. You'll have a flight instructor take you up. You'll have the best time of your life. And if it's not for you, then you figured it out. It's not for you. At least you went and tried. So that way, when you're in your rocking chair, when you're 80 years old,
yeah, you got nothing.
You're like, well, I tried it out and I didn't like it. So then I went and, hemmed up shoes. I don't know.
Yeah. I hemmed up shoes. What'd you do for a career? I hemmed shoes.
I'm a hammer. No, but it's something that I would never, ever discourage anybody from ever trying ever. Like, it's
if you got a passion, go for it. I think the worst thing to do would be not to do it. So if you got a passion, just go ahead and pick it up. If yours is as expensive as a hobby as that, go ahead, waste your money.
It's so much fun.
It looks like fun. And I'll tell you
this, the feeling that you get when you do your first solo flight in a plane by yourself. You're taking a plane up into the air and then bringing it back down. It's similar, and I can't even. If you ever ride motorcycles and you take yourself on your own little trip, and you're just comfortable and you're at ease with what's going on in life, and when you're on that bike, you're like, man, like, nothing's gonna stop me. I can go anywhere I want
except the wall.
It's almost like that feeling. It's like that, but like times 10 or 100. Like that feeling you get when I was on my downwind, when I was coming into land, and I was on a long stretch. I looked over to my right and I could see the sunset, and I was like, wow. I soaked it in for like 5 seconds. It's like I'm literally doing something that most people don't ever do, and this is the most amazing feeling ever. It's awesome. I love it.
That's super cool. That's something to me, like, that's a normal person doesn't really get that experience.
No.
Not a lot of people get that experience. So that's something that you get yourself.
And I highly advise it for everybody. And if you have any questions about aviation or being a reserve or like in law enforcement, or if you have any questions for the city, just like, hey, when does leaf pickup come? Just hit me up, I guess, and just let me know.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, I can point you in the right direction. And there's a lot smarter pilots than I. I can get you hooked up with them. And there's a lot smarter deputies than myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we definitely want people to kind of explore their own avenues and their kind of interests in life.
Yes, if you ever have an interest in anything, just do it.
Just do it.
Like
I
I
had
have
like
a-
this thing for the podcast. Just do it. It's very.
I did
it took somebody told me just do it, and I'm like, all right, I got to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as raw as this is, I found out those colors. By the way, I found it out a while ago,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking about
The
your own
colors
speech.
for
You
the,
just kept talking about yourself.
EMTs and dispatchers.
Yeah. So each group of workers has their own colors.
Wow.
Red, firefighters, EMTs, and ambulance workers. Orange, food providers, grocery, restaurants, farmers. Farmers are important. Farmers are extremely important.
Groceries.
Yellow is health department. Green is delivery drivers. Blue is law enforcement. Pink is medical workers. They don't have dispatchers.
Where's dispatchers?
They didn't have it. I've looked a couple times on different things. They didn't have it. I didn't want to spend my whole time facing down at my phone. But and I think
that
it's
doesn't
white.
make sense.
I think it's white. The white
Because
line.
when I got my little license plate cover on Amazon, and Amazon doesn't lie.
It's got a
It said dispatch was for yellow
yellow.
or white.
Yeah, yellow.
I don't remember what I said. I can't remember, but I just know I
If
have a
somebody else knows, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, comment.
And then I won't go back and change it, but you can just imagine if I did. So good
Just
luck.
pretend.
Just pretend I did. So I think it's so cool that you fly planes. I think it's insane because I knew you growing up and how dumb we both were, and thinking now like that guy can fly a plane. And when someone says, "Oh, he's the dumb one," isn't he? The guy flies a plane. Like he could take a plane up in the air. Like I don't consider that a dumb person. Like I'm not sitting here sticking up for him. I don't need to, but like I just think it's pretty funny when someone's like, "You know how stupid he is." I'm like, well, are you a pilot? No. Well, there you go. Like there's your answer. Like you're the stupid one, stupid. but the best thing about it is, well, it would have been the best thing if you were able to get a plane. But like when me and Savannah were coming back from our honeymoon in Cancun, our plane got delayed an extra hour in Cancun. So when it was an extra 2 hours. 2 hours delayed in Cancun. So when we got to Chicago O'Hare Airport, we missed our flight, and the only next flight they had was like the very next day, like at 3 p.m. So we're like, no, we got to get back home. So I called Nick. I'm like, hey, dude, we're in Cancun right now. We're going to need like a ride, or like, can you come fly to Chicago Airport to pick us up? Thinking he can get a plane and get up there. And he's like, yeah, let me contact a friend. And they were doing some
I called two different friends of mine, and one of them was busy working on his house. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to leave this job. I have to stay here.
What a friend you are. I was stuck.
So, and then the other one was getting some maintenance done on their plane, and their plane was taken apart. So I understood that. But I couldn't rent a plane to go do that because the cost of renting one for the amount of time that I would need it would just, it outweighed me just to spend the time that I needed in my own car
to drive.
Up. It would have been like $300 or $400 just to do that. And it's not worth it to me because I know he wouldn't be good at paying me back. So it'd be a nice flight time.
At some point, yeah, you would have got
not my paycheck.
2
or my
flight
wallet.
hours. Yeah.
But yeah, like my goal is eventually I want to have my own plane, and another goal is I want to have my own airplane cleaning business. So I'm meeting up with somebody in a week or two to actually talk about that, who's opening up a company here to sell jets or any planes. but yeah, I'm gonna work with him.
That'd be really cool.
Talk with him, see what I can do. But I want to open up in my own business doing that. I like cleaning planes. I love being around planes. They're a lot of fun. They're so cool. We just, something that's literally flying in the air. It's a giant, heavy machine that operates with, in the air. Like, it's weird. If you really just dumb it down, you're like, wow, we have metal machines that are in the air right now. And, here I am walking around on my own feet.
Walking on my own feet like a poor person.
Yeah. So I love being around airplanes, and I love talking about planes. And that's what I want to do that. Like, I want to be around it. I love working, as a deputy. I love doing all that stuff. It's so much fun. Now, if the sheriff's office would buy a plane, and I could just pull people over.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to get like a rotary license for your helicopter.
Yeah, well, that's what my plan is.
Because I think I would like to do that because I have an interest in helicopters.
Yeah, once I get all my ratings, I've thought about going and getting a rotary add-on, like a helicopter add-on. Like, it's not as expensive to do it like that. But to learn how to fly a helicopter, like, I heard someone told me that flying a plane is like, I think they said riding a unicycle. You kind of get the hang of it. But then when you're flying a helicopter, it's like riding a unicycle on top of another unicycle while juggling 6 balls. So it's like so much is going on at once, and it's just it's a completely different ball game, and I'm up for the challenge for that. But after I get myself situated with everything that I'm working on right now, but yeah, I mean, like, I'm excited to see where I'll look, or where I'll be, and what life will look like for me in like 5 years, because it could be completely polar opposite. So I'm just really looking forward to it. I just want it all to be. I know that, like, people say, like, I just want to be done with it, but you're never done working on yourself. At least you never should be done working on yourself.
You should always be striving to do better.
Oh yeah, of course.
Every single day. As soon as you stop trying to strive to be a better version of you, and that's when you just start declining. Because I mean, I've been in that decline before, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun being in the decline, and then depression starts to sink in, and then you're starting to get anxiety because you're not doing better, and it's just always pushing yourself to be better, not just being a better person, just being a better version of yourself. And if you're religious, if you believe in Christ, stick to the Bible. Just start reading into it. It's awesome. I think it's amazing. I love it. But like, trying to be a better person for God and trying to be a better person for yourself and your family, or if you have kids, or you're just your parents, or your loved one, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want. I think it's always good to just try to progress to be better. And I think we should all help each other out anyways. I think that if there's an opportunity to help somebody out, by all means, help them out as best you can.
Yeah, because you never know what kind of bridge you're making.
Yeah, you might be making a good one.
I helped some lady move, some random person move, and it ended up leading to me getting the job that I have now. And that job has helped me pay for my education, like my college degree and my flight school. And all because I helped somebody move from their apartment to a house, or from a house to a house. I don't remember, but I just helped them move. I had no clue who it was. I was voluntold to do this job, and that's what led me to where I'm at now, to where I can afford this house that I just got, and kind of like the schooling that I have and the lifestyle that I have, which isn't like fabulous at all, but it's
we lead a life of luxury, as you can tell from my guitar behind me. By the way, this thing right here, it's maybe someday I'll get a really good shot of it. Actually, I could do that right now if I wanted to. Ooh, that thing was a gift. That thing was a gift for our wedding, me and Savannah's wedding, and that thing's beautiful. It came from Shane. I don't know if I can say his last name. Everyone will know, but that thing is it's awesome. I love it. Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool. I think it's cool. So, yeah. So we've been going for a while now. We can go ahead and just cut this thing off.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please, like this video, comment on it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'll be posting this on Anchor, and then it'll go out to Google Play and Apple Play. So
Is it going to be put on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll put it. Oh yeah, I'll put it on Facebook too. So just
YouTube.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The video, and the video will have to go on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to do closed captioning, and then the audio version will go out on Anchor, and that'll go out to Apple Play, Spotify, and Google Play.
Awesome.
So, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Leave comments on it. Whatever you want to see done, I will try to do. And if you guys got any ideas for more questions, or if you want Nick to come back on here, let me know. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.